It's Friday. Let's get into the hottest comic books of the week. So many option shows, Russ.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on this list that's being moving because of options right now.
CBSI comicbookinvest.com, they have their work cut out for them with the amount of news that happened this week. Let's take a look at this Hot 10 comics list. Here at number 10, we have Omega Man number 3 making the list. This is a book from the beginning of me starting my collecting in those early years, dollar bin finds every other day.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the show that you were at and bought your Hulk 181. I literally bought 3 copies of Omega Man 3 in a dollar bin at that show at Meridian Park.
Coming in at number 10 on the list, we have the first appearance of Lobo. Now, we know because of teasers earlier this year that Lobo is going to be making an appearance in the new Krypton show. We have a Krypton show, and we have Lobo making an appearance, but he just made his first appearance, and they are already giving him his own solo series. That has this book spiking yet again. Back when we were first covering this book, 9.8s were hitting a peak at 200, but after this news, we're seeing this book spike up to 250. There are a lot of Lobo fans. People are speculating on this book and on this character. Keep an eye out for that Omega Man issue number 2. This is a dollar bin book all day long that no one knows about, but it does have an advertisement for Omega Man number 3 featuring Lobo. True first.
Number 9 this week, Betty and Veronica 261. This is a book from 2012, so it's definitely a more recent one, but it is the first appearance of Vampironica. Now, with the horror-themed Archie and Jughead books right now, this is going to make a lot of sense. Roz, we were seeing this just a little while ago, 175 to 200. This last week, we saw Raw go for 350, and there even seems to be an offer made for almost 500. Even graded 9.8s are approaching $800 on this book.
It's a hot book. Shout out to Daniel Brecken32, who's showing off his Veronica in Paris. He found 2 copies of that in the dollar bin. And then we also have XJT Rodriguez, who's showing off his Veronica 28 that he also pulled out of the dollar bin. People are interested in Archies now. What's happening? I don't know, but I'm excited.
It is very, very cool. And you know what? If you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below.
It's huge for us, comic fam. Coming at the list at number 8, I'm thinking Sony has just been reeling from the success of Into the Spider-Verse because they had some major announcements this week. In France, they announced that they're going to be bringing some more comic books to the screen, animation style. All right, we have Hungry Ghost making the list, a repeat offender. After Anthony Bourdain's passing last year, this book shot up to right around that $20 mark. It's back up there again. After it was announced that Sony's going to be bringing this horror culinary dark horse comic book to the screen, but it's going to be an anthology series, a cartoon, and it's going to be different animation styles every single episode. So I'm excited about this, and fans are starting to pick up this book.
Number 7 this week, Venom number 3. We haven't seen this for a while, but Donny Cates released Silver Surfer Black. Donny Cates is going to be coming back to the Venom series, and this Venom number 3 made the list a lot last year because it's the first appearance of Knull. Now, 9.8s were in the $80 to $90 range, and now they're easily over 100, sometimes almost as high as 110. Raw copies are peaking around 40. Remember, there's also a San Diego Comic-Con variant of this. There were only 3,000 copies made. And I do want to give a shout out to Gibby915, who did get the regular and Absolute Carnage variant of Venom 15.
Well done there. Sonic the Hedgehog is coming on the list at number 6. Not very excited for this movie. I don't think it's going to be very good, but Sonic fans are hopeful. And you know what? I was always a big Sonic fan. Sega Genesis and like the Sega line of games just didn't do it for me. I wasn't very good at games, and those are hard as hell.
I was 12 in 1991, and I played the heck out of Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic and Tails. I had it on my Game Gear. I had it on my... Oh my God. I am a big Sega boy, and yes, I am very excited for this movie. And if I have to put my hand over half of the screen and not look at Sonic's teeth, I will watch this movie.
Hey, I like Jim Carrey, but we have Sonic the Hedgehog number 1. A 9.0 last summer sold for $215, and one sold in January for $530. Now, what's interesting about the Sonic comic books is that if you go through it's like Sonic's portfolio of early appearances, it is very dicey.
There's so many comics and so many ways they were released and so many places you can find them. And there's really not a good chronology of that online. Trying to pinpoint where the actual first appearance was and when the actual promo was and when the actual comic was, it's very, very difficult.
We have here the oversized Mean Machine book. This is a #1, but that was released with the Mean Machine magazine that came out in the UK. This oversized book sold for $900 this week.
That is crazy. A graded copy of that. And they're impossible to find because, again, they were released in the UK. Now, this is larger than a normal comic book size, whereas the other #1 Sonics that we're talking about are actually a little bit smaller than
That's
a
right.
comic book size.
That's right. Coming out in 1992, this Mean Machine one, but this #1 is not the first appearance of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Now, we thought, and many in the community thought that 1/4 promo comic was the first true appearance of Sonic.
We even made a video about it in the True First talking about how the 1/4 Sonic promo comic was the first appearance, and it turns out it's not.
Yeah, it turns out in 1991, alongside of Sega releasing Sonic the Hedgehog, there was a promotional comic book, but it gets even dicier because that promotional comic book wasn't just released at Sears, which they gave away to customers. It wasn't just released in magazines, which it was. They also put it in comic books. If you find a JLA Europe issue number 33, okay, Inception. That's Lobo on the cover of JLA 33. We just connected Sonic and Lobo. Hit the subscribe button. You open that first page, you're gonna see this promo right there. But here's the thing. A lot of these promos that were included elsewhere didn't have the whole comic. So we have some of these prints that are the first appearance of Sonic. They're promotional items of the promotion. The well is so deep. I'm super excited to keep up with Sonic. I'm going to check out the movie. And what do we have at the list at #5?
#5, we have Sensational She Hulk, #40. This is another one of those bombshell type girly covers. It's her in a towel with paparazzi around her. Beautiful cover. Again, there's some really, really fantastic She-Hulk covers in the early 90s run. If you look later on in the 2000 run, just some really, really beautiful stuff.
Now, the real interesting story about this is that when this issue came out, to everyone's surprise, Marvel allowed the viewer's request to happen. They start out the issue with She-Hulk appearing to be jumping rope naked. Could you ever imagine this happening in today's comic book market? Absolutely not. What's this comic book going for?
A 9.6 sold for $200, which is a record, but raw copies in the $65 to $70 range?
Crazy.
And I mean, again, this is just the type of thing that all of a sudden we're seeing the Sensational She Hulk, which, yes, is the early 1990s run, selling for a ton. The print run on this book is surprisingly low. There are so many things in this era of the 90s that were printed in the millions or more, and this one was really in the 30 to 40,000 copies of this book, so it is relatively scarce if you can find a copy of it.
People liking those good curl covers. All right, coming on the list at #4, we have a very interesting book to make the list. We have Batman Mask of Phantasm. Now, this is the graphic novel. Well, we have Tom King hinting at an upcoming 12-issue series. It's a Batman Catwoman that's going to feature this villain, her first appearance in Batman canon.
Okay.
So this is an important thing because this movie came out in 93.
Years ago, yeah.
December 1993 to be exact. And this is a graphic novel that doesn't go for very much, $3 to $5. Well, we're seeing spikes for first prints hit 15. Now, as a movie adaptation, people are looking at this like, oh, it's just a reprint. It's not really the first appearance. It's not in canon. However, there is something interesting that we actually discovered here in the last couple weeks. Back in 1993, this graphic novel came out, but not in a traditional way. This came out as a promotional book that was included with a toy as well as a coloring book. In 1993, this came out, and I'm actually holding one right here. I'm going to take it out because there's a lot of second prints that are out there. The
Right.
second prints sell very well, but you may wonder, why are there no first prints out there, or why are there less? Well, it's because you had to get this toy. So first off, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this list, what you think about these comics. Did you like this movie? I remember this movie as a kid, but we're going to enter you to win this comic book next week if you comment down below. Now, this book is a movie adaptation. Is it the first appearance of this villain? I don't know. The community is still deciding because number 3 on the list, we have Batman and Robin Adventures Annual #1. This is the first appearance in a comic format of this villain. But this came out in 1996, and it's a sequel to the movie. So it's not Batman canon. Coming in at number 3 on the list, though, because this book has spiked to $65. So I'm interested to hear from the community what they think about these first appearances, because this is why we do the True First videos. It's these types of conundrums.
Another retread on this list, number 2, we have Die #1.
Again, man.
I know, and if you remember a few months ago, we saw this book a lot on the list. Kieran Gillen's book hit the list multiple times, multiple copies. You know that there was that Forbidden Planet Virgin variant of issue #1. Well, #1 is back on the list. Raw copies are 35 to 40, and the 9.8s are back to 150 after dropping to half of that. Now, we know that there's a TV series going to be made. I think that because there was a graphic novel that released the first 5 issues last week, there is a renewed interest. We also know that issue #6 is going to be coming out the first week of August. So Die is coming back. There will be more story content, and this book is fantastic. Even the 3rd, 4th, and 5th prints of issue #1 are going for a good amount.
That Forbidden Planet rumored to be under 800 copies of this. So keep an eye out. And I'm excited to see role playing, this type of like science fiction, fantasy make the list.
Yep.
Coming on the list at #1, we have the hottest comic book of the week. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our content. We do pump out a lot of comic book themed videos. #1 on the list, we have Oblivion Song. #1, the pink signature variant. This book dropped to cover price over this last year. Great comic. Robert Kirkman's killing it. He's got a lot of titles, but this one gets picked up by Paramount. They're making it a movie, sci-fi horror. You know that they're going to get my ticket.
They actually sent all of the retailers an advanced retailer edition. It was a graphic novel that had the first 5 or 6 issues in it. And I even remember being in Image Expo, and Robert Kirkman was joking about signing a bunch of these and seeing them on eBay the next day. So all of the retailers had an opportunity to read this beforehand. A lot of the retailers I talked to found this very derivative. It kind of felt a lot like, guy in a wasteland walking around trying to find things. You're like, oh, well, it kind of feels like Walking Dead. Well, it has picked up, and the farther you get into the book, it is definitely worth reading. It is different. It's got a lot of good stuff. But they made the announcement a couple days ago that it got optioned for a movie, and these started spiking. I was getting tagged left and right. People who are finding these at cover price, people who are finding these at half price, and the regular book itself is going for 10 to 15. The pink signature variant is going for 25 consistently. Now, keep in mind that the signature variant is also referred to as the Mega Box variant, because if you got the Mega Box from Skybound, I think they were selling it through skybound.com, they gave you this variant. This pink signature variant was a secret variant. It was not told that any of us were getting these comics. We also don't know the exact ratio on it. I ordered 25 copies of Oblivion Song #1, got 0 of the pink variant. But we saw people who ordered 30, 50, 100 copies and got 15, 20 copies of the pink. So it didn't seem to be collated very well. The other interesting thing that you need to keep in mind is that when Image announced this book, they made it very, very clear that it was one and done. No second print ever. They would not second print this book. Image did this to try and get more people buy the first print of this book, which is why I think it hit and fell very quickly, because there were too many people out there. Well, now we have good news, because a lot of people can find these, and with the movie options, you're going to see these moving again. You want to see something really, really rare? Try and get the Oblivion Song special comic book variant that was only available in the box set with the statue. There were only supposed to be 1,000 of them made. Apparently, only 600 were actually released because they were not ordered. So that comic is astronomical right now.
Interesting stuff. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on Oblivion Song #1s. And I also want to give a shout out to Naz Pacino, who's showing off his #1 from last week, showing off his Rick and Morty 1 in 25 variant
cool.
set. He was really excited to DM me, letting me know that he found those after hitting LCS after LCS. I want to see the comic book community's successful hunts this week. They're going to go out, they're going to find Oblivion Song in the dollar bin. I know they are. So tag us on Instagram. We do like hearing from you.
So congratulations to Thanos the Mad Titan, who won the copy of Walking Dead 192 that we gave away last week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and be entered into our giveaway this week for the copy of Batman Mask of Phantasm graphic novel.
Absolutely. We do appreciate CBSI, comicbookinvest.com, for hooking us up with this list a little early so we can cover this for the comic book community every single Friday.
Geek responsibly.
Enough said. Thank you so much for watching this video, Comic Fam. It is the 13th. No, it's not. It's the 14th. While we're filming this, it's gone to the 14th, which means you only have 2 days left. 2 full days to sign up to reserve your June mystery mail call box. Links in the description. Join the community.